Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and if you are someone who's been here for a while, hey. So I'm in St. Louis, and the temperature today dropped a shocking number of degrees, right? This time of year in November, we would normally expect, it's the 11th of November today, we would normally expect the temperature to be I don't know, it might get down to freezing and below freezing at night, surely, but it wouldn't, it's really, for it to like snow all day long, and then for it to go from like 65 degrees yesterday to, I think the last time I checked the temperature outside, it was like 18, 19 degrees. It's going to get down to like 11 degrees tonight. Wow. So I have spent many hours today on the road in really bizarrely inclement weather. So I have contemplated the Council of Seven several times today, and what it means to have a Council of Seven, and realized realistically at this moment, since coming back to the tarot, although I have a lot of tarot decks, I can really not say that I have an actual Council of Seven. I have several tarot decks who I would call, I would say are part of a board of allies. Because they are brilliant at what they do. They read extremely well. I'm very well bonded with them, and I love them, and I mostly will use them with clients. So the decks that I use to read for myself past the point where I'm in a phase of just getting to know the deck well is actually very limited. So I usually will start by reading for myself with a deck in order to get to know the deck well. And it becomes very clear right away is if this is a deck that is, you know, that is my deck, or if it's a deck that I love and I'm enjoying, and I'm going to definitely read with this deck for clients. So what I'm going to share is my definite Council of Seven, which is, I believe, actually a council of 4. If I'm totally honest, it's a council of 4 with a few runners-up that may become part of my Council of 7. And then I have several contenders that are vying for that place and may become part of that council. And that includes at least 1, maybe 2 decks that I do not yet own, but which are decks that I've wanted to get a hold of for some time now and have not, simply because I'm aware that in order to bring them in, I'm going to need the like psycho-emotional space to really work with them deeply, because they're giving me that calling. Okay, so no big shock to anyone who knows me, but you know, first one on my Council of 7. In every council, in every category, whether it's like decks that I love just for me or decks that I use with clients, is going to be the Mariel Tarot. Honest to God, the moment our eyes met, it was love at first sight, and I thought, okay, this is the deck I'm going to marry. This deck, this is a first edition that I trimmed. And this is the deck that I use and read for myself with, because I love it so much that flames. It is just that deck. It speaks to me on a level that is just astounding. I mean, I have the guidebook. I have, where is it? My copy of the first edition guidebook at this point is so like colorfully annotated and scribbled in, and oh my God, every time I read it, I find or read something new that I never saw before and go, oh my gosh, look at how that's connected to this one thing that's over here that does this, that's like that. You know, this deck, I don't know how to describe it in words almost. It's simply that it can take an image like a Baphomet, right? Or a Baphomet, depending on how you want to say this one. And make it something beautiful, something that I would have years ago said, oh, I'm not sure about that. And suddenly it's beautiful. It represents something utterly, utterly beautiful and complete and harmonious. You know, the Eight of Swords, rather than being a caged mind, might be simply, look, you could open this gate and you know your way. You know, the Seven of Cups, which is such a dark card, looks just like my dog, right? So it has a beautiful way of taking things that could potentially be unlovable or scary, and for me, makes them utterly poetic, beautiful, humorous, humorous and poetic, and stunning and satisfied at the same time. I don't know. It speaks to me on every possible level of existence and says, you are complete. You are beautiful. You are your soul, and the void of your, you know, that abyss of the inner being. You know, it's the way that it's looking back at me. I don't even have words. I don't have words. But if I'm, you know, when I'm scared, nervous, upset, happy, uncertain, etc., this is the deck I will go to. And, you know, I think I even talked about it in maybe back in August. I was having an awful month. And this deck, I thought, okay, screw all the other decks that I think I might want to work with right now. I just need this one. I read for clients. When I read on the lines, I read with the Mariel every day. So not this one. I read with a second edition deck that I have. And, you know, that one has a very unique voice as well. It will tell me the truth every time. It can read on a very mundane, everyday level, and then make that shift or that leap to a spiritual level just like that. So, you know, and it can look at the good, the bad, the shaded, you know, the things that are in shadow, the things that are known, and bring all of them very, very truthfully and beautifully to the surface with a level of compassion that is, that makes it not scary, and it makes it easy to deliver a very honest, sincere message to someone very quickly and in a way that it is easy to communicate to them. Love this deck. So that's my first one. It's a love affair. It's a marriage. It's a marriage. It's just a marriage. So the next one is the New Earth Tarot. I love this deck. This is another soul deck. Definite trusted member of my council. It is twisted every which way to Christmas. It is a gentle, I would say non-dual kind of deck. It manages, with it, you know, in conjunction with the guidebook, it can deliver a pretty, well, it just always delivers a really honest, straightforward message. It's not really like coded one way or the other. So even the things that are like really difficult come out like, you know, it's just, this is the truth. Yeah, you know, here it is. There's nothing really attached to it. This is just what it looks like. So even when it gives me a really difficult message, the message is not difficult to take. You know, this is a deck that can give you, you know, the Tower, the Ten of Swords, the three of Swords, and this one is, we've seen it already. It's actually not mean. This one has some real admonition to it. You know, like, watch your consumption. Be careful. Look what you're doing. You know, you need to be aware what your choices are. And I just appreciate that. It is truth without any attachment to the way that it's told. It's just, it's like it comes across unfiltered. And the The creators of the deck are Buddhist practitioners, which is not surprising to me at all. Yeah, I follow Kate Silver on Instagram. Oh, this is one of the better cards. Anyway, it's a circular deck, which makes it a pain to try and show it here. You know, I don't read it directionally, by the way. I don't know that it's intended to be read directionally. There's nothing really in the guidebook about that. Yeah, this deck has a very, for me, is like working with my Zen teacher, Haju, and I love her deeply. And she has the most loving way of telling you the most awful things that you need to hear. Because she'll just say it, you know that she loves you. You can trust it. And you can see it in her face. And then the way that she can express it is so honest and so simple and truthful. And that's what this deck does. And that's why I love it. It will tell me the truth. And most of the time, the truth is you are not spending enough time meditating. And it's not meant like you're not spending, it's not that. It's literally, well, yeah, this is difficult for you right now. You are having a hard time. Probably if you spent the time needed to meditate, you wouldn't feel quite so bad. So maybe make some time for that. Nothing else. So any of the guilt or any of the other crap that gets layered on, guess who owns that? It's mine. So I have to really own it and move on. So yes, then moving on, the third one that I came across that had that same kind of like, gut level, oh my gosh, where have you been all my life? I need you with me, is the Fallar Tarot by Carmen Sorrenti. And I know several other people have had Mariel and Fallar on their lists as well, which is not a surprise. This deck, again, its creator, and oops, where is it? This one here looks a little bit like Carmen. Little bit. Is, it's from her dreams. And it's the way that she dreamed the deck. She's also a theater creator, as I am. And I feel and see like the connection to theater and to a particular style of theater in this deck. That language visually and in the language of the guidebook, like even the sun is a very dark card, right? You've got to find that darkness and go into darkness in order to really recognize what light is and how it feels. Which is why, as a person, I love spending time. I love this time of year. The summer can become a little bit too much for me at times. And when it's dark and it's cold and things kind of close in, I often feel more alive and more connected and more, I don't know, just happy generally. And this deck has that quality, I also relate to it because of this tower, because this is a lot like what my own, tower experience that lasted a long time was like. Being stricken by lightning, split apart, so that anything unnecessary couldn't stay anymore. And so when I saw this card, I thought, here's someone who really gets that. And so having that experience mirrored back visually in this way, it was just an immediate bond. And then, I love this so much. This nine, it's a 9 of cups. It's the 9 of coral. The number of times I've had dreams that look like this, that are like this. I don't know. It's just this deck is, I love it. When I pick it up, it sings to me, and we know each other's tune, and we can talk together and play together, and it's just a very simple and very easy relationship. It's very loving and trusting immediately, kind of like children have sometimes, and wonderful. So my fourth deck, how bad is this? Not that bad. My fourth deck is Tarot of the She. And this is a deck that after I had Fallar for a little while, and was showing it, I think I think I did my walkthroughs of it and put those up. And Diane Jarecki of Indigo Moon Woman said, oh my goodness, it kind of reminds me like of a cross between the Mariel and the Tarot of the She. And as soon as she said that, I thought, okay, so that'll be my next deck. It was. I think I ordered it that same night. Like I texted her right away and was like, tell me more. So the Tarot of, this glare. The glare. Thinking of Dame Maggie Smith. Maybe I should go this way. Maggie Smith in Downton Abbey with her. Oh, the glare. Yeah, the Dancer 3, the Dreamer. I mean, this one is so playful. Well, this one's a little dark. But, you know, it can play in the dark, I guess, and play with dark things. This Tower, again. The dismantlement and the unfurling of something that was always there. And always you, and always recognizable. Yeah, it also brought back a lot of memories of things that I've talked about, like the ashtray thing. I'm trying to remember where I spoke about that. Basically, okay, I'll do a little like, ooh, what's happening? Uh-oh. When I was like not quite 2, right around the age of 2, maybe 18 months, something like that, my parents told me that I ate the contents, like the entire contents of one of those giant, about here, right? Giant ashtrays. My parents came in and found me in there, and just in time for me to vomit, I think, apparently all over everything. The doctor had no idea, like, why a child that's 18 months old would eat, you know, not 1 or 2, but an entire ashtray. I've had a lot of experiences that have left me wondering about the Fae, and this, you're not always trustworthy either, frankly, but these Fae in particular, which I now realize that she is not like she, as in Tarot of the She, that the She are not like one, light, time, Mercury, life. Okay, let's try this. Not have as much glare. Nope, we'll have a there we go. Okay, glossy cards. Oh my gosh. But yeah, these guys don't have that iffy feeling. They have more of the feeling of like the Fae energies that I've come into contact with that felt a lot more respectful. Dare I say a little kind of creepier, more kind of like alien-like, maybe, but not probably the ones that tried to poison me to death, supposing that that's what happened. Just a very bizarre experience. Very bizarre. There are a lot of stories in folklore of fairies enchanting things that could be poisonous or sickening, and getting, you know, tricking people into eating them, or tricking small children especially into eating them and being killed. So, yeah. But these guys feel a lot more protective and, like, distant but present. And I love this deck because it put me in touch with that. So, yeah. So that's Tarot of the She. Now, so anyway, this is a so long video. I can't even believe I did this. I think it's just because I'm trying to procrastinate not having to grade papers after working all day as a doula. Because I'm tired. And I just spent so much time in the snow. It was awful. Maybe I'll just make a cup of tea and go to bed early. And read a book. Maybe that's what I'll do. All right. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Natalia, for this beautiful hashtag. My God, what a fun! We needed you, clearly, to inject some fun and some thought and some deep reflection. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.